Hello. Welcome back for another stream. Good. We got going on today? Let's see. Thanks for tuning in. Especially you, Grendel. Thanks for the following. And we'll just jump right to it. Last episode, or last session, we got ambushed by 3 mummies that we rolled from a random table, which is amazing for level 1 characters. Managed to lose them in the forest. They did end up going back into the depths of the Golden Brothers to see if they could pilfer any more treasure. They were able to grab a few things, and then they ran out and headed back to Rularn. So that's kind of where we ended up at. So what does that mean for us? Well, let's begin with a little bit of world building. What do we have here? Okay. A little bit of world building. Where do we want to start? I do enjoy character things, but I also wonder a little bit about the city, because we don't want to ignore that. We want to grow a lot of different aspects, right? So, what do we have? We have a criminal safe house in the slums. And we also have a wealthy shop. Now, that wealthy shop, did we do anything with that? I don't think we did. Just rolling through these prompts. Yep, I don't think we did anything with the wealthy shop, which is interesting. Right. First thing I'm going to do, though, is that each district actually has its own role table in the core rulebook. So the slums, for example, is located on page 174 and 175 of the core rulebook. So I'm just going to make a little notation, 174, 175. This will make tracking down that role table a little bit easier. I'm just going to fill that in. You don't need a ton of stuff done up front to get started. Really, it's just about kind of hitting the table, really. Getting these games on the table and starting with the fun. So you don't need like a fully fleshed out world or anything. You can just kind of get started. If you're playing with a group, you can actually use your players to give you input. I do that with my Curse of Strahd game, kind of, where the players tell me what they think is interesting, and we see how we can make it work. So let's see here. Where are you? We're gonna need the shops there for a minute, but Castle District is 146. And if you're sitting there and you're like, man, why is this guy doing this kind of thing? This is boring. Every bit of solo play is playing. And this, the other thing I use solo play for, I should say, is that I'm trying to learn the system and, more importantly, learn how to reference the rulebook properly. So that means instead of spending a lot of time flipping through trying to find stuff in front of a group, I would rather try to find it on my own. And then that way, when or if this ever hits the table with my main D&D group, I'll be able to flip through this in a much more quick sort of fashion, so that at the gameplay, or at the game table, the gameplay is much faster. Let's see. So now we got those all written down, which is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and turn to page 138, 139 for this wealthy shop. Let's see here. So what is this wealthy shop? We roll a d10. Let's see what we find here. Is a 10, antiques and curios. I'm already a super fan, because that means we might find some interesting things here. Antiques and curios with one R. And the shop generator. So let's get a name. 5. The Kings. Let's see, where are we? There we go. The King's Finery. I like that. And it is known for aggressive rodent problem. Who hasn't gone into a basement to kill a bunch of rodents in a role-playing game, right? Aggressive rodent problem. And I'm interested to know kind of who runs that. So I'm going to use the Shadowdark Game Master screen. It has a couple of things for NPCs on there, which is fantastic. I don't need anything huge because I'm not sure that we'll actually use this shop, but for the age, we'll roll a d6 and we'll take the upper end. Essentially, the age table is a d8, but we already know, or likely know, that the antique and curio shop is likely not run by a child or adolescent. So we're going to assume adult, middle-aged, elderly, or ancient. 5. So moving these numbers, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is elderly. So we have an elderly. Let's go ahead and get our D10 for ancestry here. Elderly elf. Interesting. Lots of elves in this city that I'm ruling. So, old elf. And there's also a name generator on the screen that I have not used yet. So let's see what it generates for us. We got a Cyr, C-Y-R, 7 W-I-N. Now there's 2 more columns that I could roll on. I'm not even going to bother because I like Cyrwin, or Kirwin. I think that's kind of a fun name. We have a antiques and curios called the King's Finery. It has an aggressive rodent problem, and it's run by the old elf Kirwin. Boom. That's all we need. Not really interested in much else. If we want, we can roll a characteristic for Kirwin, but we can wait until we actually encounter that shop, which we might do today. So our heroes here, they went in, grabbed some treasure, and got out of the tomb that they were in, the depths of the Golden Brothers. Now, they're back at the city. They're going to try to offload that stuff. Now, first things first, each of the treasure, they got a dagger with an emerald. They did get a taxidermied Smilodon and a mithril shield that was polished to a shine. So each one of those is worth about the size of a bag of gold. So here on XP, you can see that if they get a silver or a used dagger or dice, it's 0 XP. For normal, bag of gold, gem, fine armor, magic scroll, that's worth 1 experience point each. So I'm going to say that each one of these treasures is worth 1 experience point each. So that means Tyr got 3. Dendor will also have 3. Grab my eraser. Dendor will have 3. That puts Sidaros at 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 experience points, so he's close to level 2. And Farron is going to be at 7 experience points, also close to level 2. Pretty fantastic. And you can see we're on session, or yeah, session 6 essentially. You can already see that, just as a side note, Shadowdark has some longevity to it. Like at level 1, it took 6 sessions, 2 or 3, I can't remember exactly, 2 or 3 dungeon dives. I think 2 dungeon dives to get to potentially level 2, and we'll find out a little bit more. But they are going to go to this Antiques and Curios with their equipment, and they're going to see if they can offload that. So they go and speak to Kirwin, and we'll go ahead and roll that characteristic now. Let's see, a D8 and a D4 for a characteristic. So we have a 2 and a 4. So he's kind of eccentric. The eccentric elf Kirwin. Let's see here, which I think is just fantastic. Eccentric. Okay, so they go talk to Kirwin, and they mention, hey, we have these things, we're interested in selling them. Are you interested, kind of thing. Since he's interested in antiques and curios, I think he is interested. And so he will go ahead and take those items at their value. I'm not really going to roll for it. If I was if I was with a group and they were trying to kind of negotiate, I would say, sure, we can make some rolls. But the random roll tables already gave us a price, what it's worth essentially, and we'll just have it sell basically at that. Not super concerned with economies and such like that, at least at this point. So they'll offload those things, and let's move over to the session logs. Let's see. Session 6. Let's see. Sell treasure and got XP. Alright, so they have a grand total of 195 gold pieces that they got. And we'll do a little bit of inventory management. We'll get rid of a couple of these things here. And they will buy back their torches, so that's 1 gold. Iron spike, that's 5 silver, I believe. Maybe we should double check that. And this is after they kind of leave the curios. I don't think the curio guy would carry much of that. But they sell the items, they head off. And we need some sort of equipment list in here. Carousing will be important in a minute. Starting gear and gear, page 34. We're all just learning here, not a big deal. Alright, so each torch, I bought 2 torches, that's 1 gold total. And the iron spikes are 1 gold, not 5 5 silver. So we're at 2 gold spent, which is good to know. We'll get 2 more torches, so that's 3 gold. Oil flasks. How much are the oil flasks? 5 silver pieces each. So we are at... Oh, I used pen on these ones. It's exciting. And then a 10-foot pole. 5 silver. So we're at 2 more gold, so we are at 5 gold spent to re-up. And I think that'll do it. So out of the 195, we spent 5. We have 190 remaining. Nice. Not bad. And that will bring us back to our session notes. We geared up for the next adventure. And now we need carousing, because our guys are going to spend some of their treasure to carousing, page 92. They spend their treasure to get a little bit more XP and hopefully knock them up to the next level. Hoping. Alright, so for the carousing events, it's a bonus. We have to spend at least 30 gold, but if we spend 100 gold, then we get a +1 bonus. So that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and spend the 100 gold. So there's 90 divided amongst the 4 people here. So what does that give us? 2, 4, 6, 8. So they each get 20 at least, and that leaves 10. So we'll give 22 gold to each person. And we'll give the extra to Farron for getting us out of there. And we all get a +1 bonus. Alright, so our group will spend some time and they will do some carousing. So 1d8. We'll go with tier first. You got a 4. Gain 3 XP and a priest ally. Priest ally. Now this is going to join potentially a pool of characters that we can use if somebody were to die. So if one of our heroes dies, there's this priest ally we can rely on. I'm just going to note it over to the side. We'll just handle that later. Not a big deal. Bumped up his experience points by 3, but they donated 10% of their total wealth to the priest. So he's -2 gold. I'm just kind of rounding for that. So he has 20 gold. And when it comes to carousing, you pitch into the cost, and then each participant rolls the d8. So not everybody gets a 4. We're all seeing what we can get. Dendor got a 2. Locked in the stocks for 1d4 days and find 20% of total wealth for setting a building on fire. I don't know what Dendor was up to, but he's at 5 experience points. He's down 4 gold. And we're going to have to wait for Dendor to be released for a day. Not horrible. Good job, Dendor, for being a nuisance. Now we have Sidaros. A 4, so he also has a priest ally, basically. And he's up to 11 experience points, which is kind of cool, but also donated 2 gold away. Last but not least, Farron. Now we're really hoping to get a 3 or higher. If we get a 3 or higher, then that's a 2 on the die roll, then he's definitely going up a level. If not, Cerados is the only one that's going to be going up a level. So let's find out. Give it a good shake. A 7 + 1 is an 8. Survived a blindfolded knife-throwing demonstration unscathed. Gained 4 experience and a luck token. Now that's awesome. So he's at 11, which will bump him up. And he gets a luck token. So what are we going to use? I have these little coins here. It's the beginning of the session, so we're starting off with 4. I don't really have like another token I could use. Maybe I'll just use this little D2 for that. Not a big deal. Alright, so that's 2 of our heroes that have leveled up, which is amazing. We'll go ahead and pair that. Might as well, right? See what happens. Let's see here. Now for level 2, back to our trusty rulebook. Wondering if there's a level up. Let's start with starting level, page 14. That's only first level characters. Because we want to know what they sort of get, right? That's all starting. Level advancement. Here we go, page 39. So level 2, our experience points goes down to 0 because we essentially spent it. And the required experience points for level 3 goes up to 20 experience. Any new titles, spells, talent improvements listed for your level. They do not get a talent, but they do get hit points, and Sidaros gets a new spell. So let's go. Thief class is a D4. So let's see what Baron gets. He gets 2 hit points minus his constitution, so he gets 1 hit point, so his total goes up to a 3. His level is now 2. Title stays the same, I just know that from previously looking at it. And no spells, so he's already done leveling up. It's finished. Come over to the wizard for Sidaros. And Sidaros, he has a constitution of -1, so let's see what kind of hit points he gets. Give the dice a good shake. A 1. So he has 2 whole hit points. Fantastic. And he gets 1 more first level spell. That being said, there is, I think for his level 2 spell, I don't think I'm going to roll randomly for it. I think I might just choose. I don't know. What do you guys think in chat? If you think that he should choose, and, let me know. Maybe I will just roll just to keep it interesting. So we already have 3 spells on a D12. So 12, 11, 10, 9. So you can roll a D10 and we'll see what we get essentially. Alright, so we got a 10, of course. So we'll just re-roll. A 7. So he doesn't have alarm. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Magic missile. Alright, so we'll do magic missile, which I think will be very beneficial for the group. Magic missile, you have advantage on your check to cast the spell. Glowing bolt of force comes from your hand, dealing 1d4 damage to one target. Fantastic. Far range. So Magic missile. 24 at far. We'll call it. There we go. Is this priest ally the same as Tyr's priest ally? Just kind of hopping back and forth here as the thoughts hit me. No rhyme or reason. I'm just going to do a yes, no, or we'll find out. 14. Yes, same. Same as Tyr's. Cool. All right, and that is level up. All right, so our group reconvenes after Dendor gets out of the stocks, and everybody's feeling better after their carousing. We could technically have them carouse again because they have enough gold to do the base carousing, but I'm going to hold off, maybe just do it once between adventures. So during that time, did they hear anything interesting? Let's see, we leveled up. Zaros plus tier. Did they hear anything interesting in the city? 6. No interesting rumors in the city, which is fine. So what do they know? They know that the depths of the Golden Brothers is too powerful. They need to get higher level to go into that. Depths of the two brothers. Now they're also aware of the cairn that's not that far out of the city. It's about an hour or so, so we can probably do a 1 check for random encounters instead of 5 to get all the way to the depths of the two brothers. So that might have been a lucky find on their part. I think that Sidaros will push to investigate that particular area. So let's go and do that. So our party's all equipped, leveled up, feeling a little bit better, slightly hardier, barely. So let's give it a shot, see what we can find. All right, our group will go ahead and prepare and go travel. Let's see if there is a random encounter. There is not. So they get to the boulders, the rune-covered boulder that they discovered last time, and it seals off a cairn as they're looking at it. Sidaros will cast Detect Magic. So he'll do his casting check. He's looking for an difficulty of 11. Oh, he rolled a 2. We're going to go ahead and spend that extra luck token that we got to re-roll that. 13's better. So he casts Detect Magic. And that is page 58. Thank you, Past Me, for making references. Always a good idea. Detect Magic. You can sense the presence of magic within, near, for the spell's duration. Now he can focus on it. If you focus for 2 rounds, you discern its general properties. Full barriers block this spell. Okay, so he can't detect past the boulder, but is the boulder magically? Let's find out. Is the boulder have some sort of magic upon it? A 17. Yes, but... So, it is magical, but we don't, maybe, I don't know what the but would be in this case. So, boulders are magical in nature, or maybe it's the runes that are magical. Okay. Yes, but it's not aimed outward, it's aimed inward. So the runes maybe are a protective ability, some sort, keeping something in, maybe. Is that the case? Is it keeping something in the dungeon? 14 is a yes. The boulders are a locked door. Keeping something in. Okay. So Sidaros, he explains to the party that yes, these are indeed designed to keep something inside. So what does that mean? It means something down there that somebody wanted to kind of brick up. Do they dare move it? Now, if something was designed to be kept in and not out, what would the nature be? Can we discover the nature of it? With Detect Magic, you can sense the presence of magic within near. If you focus for 2 rounds, you discern its general properties. So he's going to maintain his focus. And is that a roll each round, or is it not? Yep, do a spellcasting check at the start of your turn for the focus spell to maintain it. So let's go ahead and maintain it for another round. Ooh, a 6 is not going to do it. He loses his focus on it. I don't think we want to spend another token. We're going to leave it because we might need those tokens later. So Sidaro says the spell's done. Finished. Now on focus spells, he does not lose the ability to cast the spell again. So that's good. He can cast it again if the party wants him to. No, because there's no guarantee that he'll be able to focus the 2 rounds required to gain more information. So can they glean maybe who put it here? Maybe what style of runes they are. A natural 20. Nice. That gives us a token back because of the solo rules. So they do gain, or they can tell what it is. So let's go ahead and we'll roll the full d12 maybe on the ancestry to decide who kind of put these runes together. A 2 puts us a human. So a human wizard. And how long ago are we thinking? Maybe about 50 years ago. 50 years ago, a human put this lock up. Okay. Interesting. So our guys will go ahead and attempt to move it. I should have had them pick up a crowbar if I was smart. I'm going to go ahead and write that in. Grab a crowbar on the next time they're in town. For now, I am going to say that 2 people can try to attempt to roll the boulder at once, maybe giving some kind of bonus of some kind, or maybe just decreasing the difficulty. When we have some things happening, we can either give a bonus to the die roll, or we can reduce the difficulty. So our heroes, I'm going to say that this is, standard is a normal DC 12. Now, this boulder was designed to not be moved, so it's going to be DC 15. But because there's 2 of them, and maybe they can connect a grappling hook over the top and try to pull it as well. Maybe they can finagle a couple of things. Let's do an intelligence check to kind of think their way through it. We'll add a +1 bonus for Farron being intelligent. So will he think about that? 13 + 1 is a 14. Yes, on a DC 12 being normal. He's like, maybe we can, rig up something with a grappling hook and a rope. So they rig something up that allows all 4 people to help. And we're going to say that that moves the DC from, or the difficulty class, from a hard all the way down to beyond easy. It'll take some effort, but there's no need to roll, basically. So our guys heave against the rope and push against the stone. And eventually, the rock moves, revealing the cairn entrance. All right. So they will light a torch. Just gonna put a torch timer here. They light a torch, and they'll. I think Tyr will look for traps actually, and instead of lighting a torch, I think Sidaros will cast a light spell. So that will require a roll with advantage. Another natural 20. That's amazing. So they get another luck token. All right, so Sidaros will light and cast light to save some of the torches and whatnot. And Tyr will search for traps. He also gets advantage. And Farrand will assist, I think. Or maybe Farrand will also search, because they both roll with advantage. 12 is a normal, so Farrand, and an 18. Amazing for Tyr. So the question is now, is there a trap to discover? 9 is a no, but there's no trap, but maybe there's a hazard or something. So as they're looking, maybe they notice something. We're going to go ahead and pop our handy core rulebook back open. And we're going to go look at Shadowdark maps, because I know that hazards. Here we go. Not Shadowdark maps. Hazards. We're going to say it's not trapped, but there is a hazard. And not all of these will fit. We'll just see what happens. We'll just see what we roll. We might have to adjust for the situation, but we'll see if we can make it work. So we got a 2, which is caltrops. And there's, different things that we can do here. So instead of saying that it's caltrops, or actually we can keep the caltrops. They look down and they see all of these rusted caltrops all over the floor, basically. We'll go ahead and repurpose this. All right, we'll just start here. So they have the opening and the first room. Or maybe it's just the opening right now. We'll get to the first room in a second, and we'll mark caltrops. Now you'll see that I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm not rolling the entire map. I just kind of want to see what we generate as we go in. So they will take some time to sweep the caltrops out of the way. But Farrand, our most intelligent guy, to Sidaros' chagrin, is going to examine the caltrops and see. Actually, wisdom might be better. So maybe Tyr will examine the caltrops and see if he can tell if there's any evidence or anything on them. He can't tell anything. Failed his roll. Yeah, I'm going to keep these tokens for later. I'm sure that we'll need them in combat at some point. All right, so they enter the cairn proper. And Sidaros has his light spell that he's casting. So everything's kind of illuminated. This first room we will use the Shadowdark map, and we'll see. We'll randomly roll a room feature. I think that'll be fun. See if anything pops up. And actually, we should roll the danger level for this cairn. Let's see how scary it is. Oh, a deadly cairn. Okay. So we're going to be rolling every round, essentially, for random encounters. Amazing. Deadly. Alright, so they go ahead and they go down the stairs. They do not get a random encounter. And what is this? What's in this room? Let's see. We'll roll a d10. We got a 5. We got a solo monster. Okay. So what are the solo monster details? We got like a 2d6 table here. 6 is a mutated brute. Mutated brute. Interesting. All right, now we're going to play this a little bit differently because we get to choose basically what we're encountering here to an extent. So let's go over to monsters. And we have this handy monster generator. So let's go ahead and generate our solo monster. Uses a couple of d20 tables. So first is a 14. Is the party level +1. So our party level is 1.5, so we'll just round that down to 1. So the monster is a combat level of 2. Good to know. And then let's see. Oh, and then this one was an 18. It's an elemental. Interesting. And then we'll have 2 more d20s. 17 out of 20. Turns invisible. And its weakness is music. Interesting. It deals 1d8 damage. Let's see. The monster's combat result is its attack bonus and level. So it's a +2 to attack. It deals 1d8 damage and it has 1d4 attacks. It has 1 attack, which is good. The AC is 12. 1 attack, 1d8 damage. There we go. And then we did roll that it was mutated. Mutations. I don't think we're too interested because we didn't grab another monster, basically. Maybe what I should have done is chose a monster. And see, let's see, 1-to-1 monsters. What do we got here? A solo monster can be too easy, even with high level, if the characters swarm it. You can combine these levels. So the party level, I could have up to a monster of level 4. If we want to do something like that, and then I would just choose something. Let's see, what level is this guy? A level 3. So maybe it's a giant spider that is mutated. That would be crazy. Whose weakness is music, but we have our bard, but let's see what it would be. Instead of the elemental, let's say that we're going to call it a giant spider, which has level 3. That should be a good solo monster for our group. And we're going to roll a mutation. Roll up to 3 mutations per monster. Oh, treat a mutated monster as 2 levels higher. So we're actually going to be looking for a level 1 monster. What is this? Level 3. It would be interesting just to use a soldier or something. Yeah, we'll just stick with the creature that we made. And let's roll. Wonder if there's, let's see. We already know that it's a mutated brute. So we go down into this first room, and immediately this mutated brute comes charging out of maybe like an exit or something. Let's see how many, or maybe it comes out of like a pile of refuse or something because it's an elemental. But it rears its ugly head. Mutated brute, here's our guys. So maybe it has big eyes and it can turn invisible because it can kind of blend into the rocks or something like that. So as our party enters, they will make some wisdom checks essentially to see if they can notice the beast. If not, then they'll get ambushed, and certainly somebody is going to go down. But let's see here. DC is going to be, let's see, turns invisible. DC will probably be 15, maybe. So no rolls. Oh, somebody spots the monster. Maybe it's Tyr who looks and points at the wall, says, "What is that?" And the creature comes off of the wall and starts charging toward them. Maybe it's some kind of like 3-armed beast. And maybe it doesn't have eyes, but it has these large ears because we want to point at the weakness. The large beast. And yeah, basically it has like these large ears that it uses sound to detect things. So let's roll initiative. We'll do initiative a little bit different. We're going to roll d6s and just take the whoever's highest essentially. Let's see, who has our best dexterity? We have a +1 here. Monster has a +2 to ability things, so we're going to add +1 because the +1s kind of negate each other. So we'll add +1 to the monster's die roll just to keep it interesting. So the red will be the monster, red for danger. Purple will be our heroes, and we'll see who goes first. High is better. The monster goes first. So the monster will charge forward, and it will attack Dendor, who I'm assuming was up front because they have the best armor class, basically. So the monster will swing its arms, kind of bashing at Dendor. 12, 13, 14. Beats the AC of 13. So he does indeed hit for 8 points of damage. That means Dendor goes down to 0. Dendor falls, basically. Brutal. All right. So that leaves the rest of the group. How many hit points? The number of d8s per monster level. Monster level is 2. So how many hit points does this monster have? 4, 5 hit points this monster has. Charges forward, hits Dendor to the ground. Our heroes get to go. Sidaros, or actually I should roll a d4 for this guy. This poor sap. d4 plus Constitution, which is +1. So he has 2 rounds until he's dead. Sidaros will cast Magic Missile. He rolls with advantage against AC 12, 17, or sorry, DC 11. He hits, dealing 1d4 points of damage. 3 points of damage. 2 points left. All right. And that leaves our 2 thieves. tier will let loose with his short bow. So he'll make his attack +2, a 19, which is great, and he'll roll at 1d4 +2, 3, 4, 5 hit points. The monster goes crashing to the ground. And Farrand will go ahead and go attempt to stabilize Dendor with a wisdom check. Here we go. Give this a good roll. A natural 1. We're going to spend a token to reroll that. An 18 is going to do it. Stabilizing a person is difficulty 15. So they do stabilize Dendor, but he is unconscious. So they will drag him out and maybe set up a camp or something outside, let him heal up, essentially. So Sidaros extinguishes his light source. They're not really going to let Dendor essentially die, I guess. So they go outside, they camp for a little bit, and Dendor comes back ready to do this again. So the next day, Sidaros will cast his light spell again. That is a 16 for the high roll. So he brings his light spell into being, and they go down into the dungeon and they will investigate the monster. Now there's a 50% chance that the monster has treasure on it. 22, so that is a yes. So what kind of treasure could this thing possibly have on it? Treasure at 0 through 3. Let's go ahead and move these things out of the way. An 89. A first tier spell scroll. So as they're looking at this creature, they find that maybe like an adventurer's backpack has been attached to it somehow. Like maybe it, like, I don't know, killed an adventurer and started wearing trophies or something. But they do find a first tier spell scroll, which is worth 80 gold. And we can, I wonder if there's anything on Scrolls and Wands. Here we go. First tier, so we'll roll a d12. A 3, it's a Charm Person spell. Charm Person, that's excellent. Flip back to page 1. What is it? What is it for the Shadowdark maps? Oh, I have it marked here. 130. Shadowdark maps. So my main question is, how many exits does this room have? We'll roll our d4. It has 3 exits. So we'll just kind of stick them off to the sides here. And your maps don't have to be anything crazy. I'm just going to use essentially a flowchart is all. And that will kind of inform how the map turns out, basically. So 3 exits. Our heroes will think about it, and they'll go down the left-hand most, or if this is a compass rose, north, south, east, west. They'll go down the southwest passage over here. So they travel down that direction. And what kind of room type is it? We get a 5, another solo monster. Alright, so they find another room. Let's see, how many exits does this room have? I'm going to do, since it's off on its own, we'll do a d4 minus 1. So we got a 1, which is at 0, so this is on its own. So this is another one of these kind of standalone monster rooms. They're trying to figure out what this place actually is, and it seems interesting. Another solo monster. Is it the same as the previous one, is the question. An 11. Yes, but maybe it's changed somehow. Maybe it has a different ability, or maybe it's already dead. Yes, but. So it is the same monster. It is a solo monster. Maybe as they come in, the they see the monster, like maybe it has like adventuring gear on it again. Like maybe they look at it and they can see that there's like it's wearing like a shirt or something. And it's got like its multiple appendages sticking out and everything. And they realize that this was an adventurer at some point. So our once famous bard will attempt to interact with it. Or actually, Sidaros is actually very charismatic. I forgot about that. So Sidaros will step forward and try to interact with it. So we will roll a reaction check. 2d6 plus 2. Wow. 6, 11 plus 2 is 13. So that means it's friendly. All right, so they walk in. The thing looks up and it waves its arms. And it kind of stays away from them and then like beckons them to come forward so they can have a dialogue with this creature. I think that's probably where we will leave it for the day. Thanks for tuning in. We will speak with the creature next time and see what it knows about the dungeon that it's in and what it can tell us. Maybe it can inform us what to expect deeper in the dungeon. Until next time, glad you guys could be here, and we will see you later.